Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we have a 3-round mock draft. I've been promising you guys this for a while. I have it pre-done over there on my third monitor. I've got my recording over here on my second one, and on my main, I have the screen you guys are seeing. Today we're going to be doing all 3 rounds of a mock draft, which was really tough to do. It takes a while to do these ones, so if you guys could, make sure to consider leaving a like and also subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. And if I do sound a little plugged up or anything like that, I'm going through some allergies right now. So, not sick, I'm not anything like that, so I'll try to be as upbeat as I can be, while also being allergy-induced. I've got a fan on me here because it's hot where I sit. And, yeah, let's hop right into this thing. Let's get this bad boy started. At this number 1 overall pick, there's been so much speculation recently over who and where some players will go, who will go here, what happens at number 1. Can affect what happens for the rest of the draft, and obviously that will be shown. I'm going to go, this is not consensus. I mean, this is consensus right now. I think CJ Stroud still has a chance to go at that number 1 spot. We had a lot of good points when CJ Stroud was the consensus player to go at 1 with his size, the typical quarterback, right? And the strengths and the typical size, all that good stuff. And the coaching of Carolina looks like they would have been or like are interested in CJ Stroud. Could have been a smokescreen, whatever. Everyone thinks Bryce Young's going now. I'll hop on that train. He is the better quarterback after all. But this leaves Houston with a weird situation. Maybe Bryce Young was your guy. Maybe you don't like anyone else. But I don't think that's true. You bring in this new defensive head coach, DeMeco Ryans. And obviously, yeah, Will Anderson's on the board. And that could make DeMeco Ryans, that could be a sign or a reason they take Will Anderson. But you're going to take the most pro-ready, other than Bryce Young, quarterback at number 2. I'm going to go CJ Stroud here. I think I make a good argument when I say that he's the most accurate quarterback in this class, and that's what you look for at the next level. He's got a bazooka sometimes when it's on the inside. He has the arm strength. He's got the sense. He's went up against great competition in college. That's all the great things you want to see, and I think it's getting a little blown out of proportion now, but I think that if you have a defensive-minded new head coach, I don't think that you want him stressing on and focusing on a player like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, and maybe you can trade up after, something else folds out, but I like CJ Stroud at this spot. I don't think that you're rushing anything. I think that is the quarterback of the future. I'm not saying he's got the upside of Anthony Richardson, maybe even Will Levis, but it's just a good player, good pick for what I think should be a pretty simple pick at number 2. And I am doing trades in this one. This is a very likely trade scenario here. I will just end up going with, obviously, Arizona and then Indianapolis, adding this one in. And this most likely, it's just a 1 pickup. I'm just going to put 79 in. It goes right through. We're good. So 79 will get them up 1 spot to ensure. And that price could definitely be higher with how many other offers the Arizona Cardinals has to move up. But I think that you can pay that price a little bit higher. But if you're more okay with Will Levis than you are with Anthony Richardson, I think that can kind of flip the switch for you. Anthony Richardson will be the pick here at number 3 for me. And then at number 4, there will be no more trade down. Will Anderson will be my pick here. Really good edge rusher. Safe and sound at number 4. Jalen Carter off the board next. A guy with some character concerns for sure. He's got some off-the-field stuff. And then even on the field, he doesn't play 120% or 110%, whatever it is. He doesn't really have the highest motor, but when he's trying, he easily can be the best player in this draft, and I think that's an absolute steal at number 5. Coming up as well, it's just a position of need, and what I find or what I see as the cornerback number 1 of this class. So Devin Witherspoon off the board at number 6. And then at number 7, this creates a little bit of a weird thing you got here. Sure, you can go tackle. Their offensive line is freaking horrible overall. And I think that it speaks volume, but you also need a corner. You just need one, all right? You're not suited at the position. And do you prefer the Christian Gonzalez or do you prefer Paris Johnson? For me, I just went Christian Gonzalez. Just makes a lot of sense. Tackle depth is definitely a thing in this draft. I can't even remember when the next time that these guys pick here. Raiders are there. They pick at 38. So you'd be well suited for a corner here, but maybe a tackle like DeJuan Jones or someone like that stays on the board for you. But for now, it's just Christian Gonzalez. Talking about a hype train, talk about Tyree Wilson. This guy he's been getting talk recently about getting picked at that number 2 spot. If they don't want a quarterback there, and then every other spot before here. And I'm just going to have him going here at 8. It's the dream scenario for Atlanta. He's long, he's quick, he doesn't really have a pass rush plan, but when he exceeds in his pass rush, has a successful move, especially towards the inside, he's really dominant. He can be one of the better players, but his floor is still a little lower than you'd like, and you're taking a chance here at number 8, and I think that's a better chance you're taking here at 8 than you are at 2 or any place higher than this. It's a lot different being a top 5 pick versus a top 10, through that 7, 8, 9, all that good stuff. I know I forgot 6, but that is what it is. You have a glaring need at right tackle if you're the Chicago Bears. Paris Johnson will fill that and just move along. Now this is a very weird pick. I know some people won't agree with it whatsoever. I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to go Bijan Robinson. I think he's going a lot higher in the NFL draft than a lot of people think. Bijan is the pick here. I truly think he is going in this range. I don't think it's even up to question. Bijan is a really good player. I'd love to see him go to a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to take full advantage of picking inside the top 10 with going with a running back. Sure, you might listen for some trades here between the next 4 teams, maybe. I mean, this is even a little bit of a dangerous spot here. You never know. With the New England Patriots, I think Bijan Robinson is well on their board. But whether or not they're willing to take him there, because the positional value, which is the thing we always talk about, gets a little tough. Here, I do change it up a little bit. I'm going with perhaps the best offensive lineman in the draft, and that is Peter Skoronski, Northwestern tackle. He can play inside and play at a very high level, or he could play outside in a tackle spot, and he could also be quite good there. But there are a little bit more chances you're taking him playing him on the outside than you are playing him on the inside, so he's likely to become a guard at some point in his career, whether that's early or late. But maybe some team wants to stick him out at tackle and be fine with it. Then I got really weird here and actually ended up going with Nolan Smith. I think he'll also be a really high pick in this NFL draft just due to what he does well and how well he does it, and the athlete he is, the overall drive he has to play football, the absolute intelligence, and he manifests like all of his time and all that good stuff into football. I think that's truly a valuable piece at number 12. And you put him under a head coach, like we talked about earlier with DeMeco Ryans, where this guy can be one of the better players on the defensive side of the ball, no matter where he plays. Not saying he's like a Micah Parsons type player, but he's got a Micah Parsons type ceiling, I guess. He can kind of play not as much inside linebacker, but you could see him line up in all sort of different things. I think DeMeco Ryans was really good with guys like Drake Jackson and all that stuff, and this is a lot different. But you just got to look at DeMeco Ryans' past. He enjoys pass rush. He's worked with guys like Nick Bosa, and you can kind of see where Nolan Smith is at now and see where he can be later, and kind of not compare him, but think and I guess, compare him to the other guys you've had. Check traits, kind of, splash, easy conversation to have. I suck at talking. Let's move on to number 13, where the New York Jets are going to go with the more sound player right now, and that is Darnell Wright. For me, at number 13, he is a draft riser. For me, if you ask anyone right now, you'll hear Broderick Jones is more of a raw product. He's not going to be amazing off the bat, but if you hear Darnell Wright's name, you talk about consistency in pass pro while being aggressive. He does have a few holes in his game, but not as much as Broderick Jones does currently. Re-engaged trade talks with Aaron Rodgers, and so if you want him, you want to protect him, and I think Darnell Wright does that better than Broderick Jones right away. Bring in Darnell Wright. He'll play right tackle for you, and fill that spot quite nicely. Here at number 14, you're just addressing a need. You're getting a nice, long, lengthy, decently athletic corner in like a 4.46 or 7 at his pro day, so you're not worried about that 4.51 at the combine as much. And I like the pick here for sure. Joey Porter Jr. going to the New England Patriots. And then I got really invested with this pick because this is my team, and for me, sure, it'd be ironic to do this after Aaron Rodgers is gone. You don't draft a wide receiver in the first round for a long time. Jackson Smith-Njigba will be the first receiver drafted in the first round in a while, or skill player, I guess, right? I don't know the exact number on that one, but it's been quite some time. All right. And at number 15, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the slot receiver out of Ohio State, will play in the slot. You know what? They got future picks as well, so if you don't like Jackson Smith-Njigba, sure, go with a Myles Murphy, Van Ness type player. I'd be fine with it. Here at this pick, we just saw Joey Porter go off the board, and that would have been the pick here at Commanders' 16th pick. Said it's going to be Deonte Banks going off the board. Pretty straightforward. This one was quite fun. I'm going to give the Pittsburgh Steelers Broderick Jones here at number 17, where it should be interesting. I don't know exactly if or why they do this, or why they wouldn't do this. I've seen this scenario before where Broderick Jones falls past this spot and they don't pick a tackle, so I don't know. It'd be weird to see in real life how they value Broderick Jones, but Broderick Jones to me is just an inside of the top 20 in the NFL draft type player. I don't think he gets past here, or past maybe even Tampa at this spot, but it is what it is. 17, Broderick Jones. At number 18, this is where I have Van Ness coming off. High traits, power to speed, or speed to power guy. That was a former defensive interior player. Works well off of the edge, really good and athletic for his size. Never started a game at Iowa, so that's that. And then at this very next pick, I actually go with another edge rusher in Myles Murphy. Tackles are off the board. I don't think Anton Harrison's in the realm of possibility here at number 19, and I'm not going to go with Will Levis. I think that they'd rather pass, maybe tank a year and get a Drake May, Caleb Williams caliber player next draft. At number 20, Seattle Seahawks are on the board. I have them taking the second receiver off of the board here. It's going to be Quentin Johnston. It's going to be Jordan Addison. It's going to be Zay Flowers, a player I really love for them. I've done this before. It's not difficult for me at all. I think you pair him really, really, really well with Lockett and DK. D. Eskridge can be that fourth guy, that other option, right? But Zay Flowers can be that bona fide third guy right now, play in that slot, perhaps even outside of Tyler Lockett. You have some design plays for Tyler Lockett on the inside. And oh boy, he could be really good in the future as well. I'm happy with the pick here at number 20. Zay Flowers off the board. At number 21, I believe I saw this recently, but if I didn't, Dalton Kincaid. It just felt right. You're giving Justin Herbert a vertical threat tight end that can help you in more than 10 ways on the offensive side of the ball, kind of open things up. And you guys, what did I do next pick for him? I did something quite fun for them, I think. I'm trying to find their next pick. Sorry. It wasn't that fun. Never mind. But Dalton Kincaid off the board there. This next pick will be kind of a little bit of a receiver run. Obviously, Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid. Then I will have Quentin Johnston off the board. This is where we get a little weird. We've seen Hendon Hooker go at this spot. If Hendon Hooker's, still available, sure. But Will Levis is here. Will Levis is a quarterback that can be talked about inside the top 30. Maybe doesn't leave the first round in any way, but I don't see how that would happen. Maybe, Minnesota's the last team that'd take him inside the first round other than New Orleans. I don't really think anybody else within the first round would be, attracted to this pick other than the Minnesota Vikings and then maybe New Orleans, what I was talking about. But Will Levis at 23, very solid pick. Minnesota Vikings get that. And then this is just the bona fide 24th pick. I'm convinced that if Brian Branch is here, they are taking him at 24. No questions asked. Next pick will be the best interior offensive player in this draft. Osiris Torrens been talked about right now as an absolute mauler, man of power, a kid that can absolutely be really good right as he steps on the field. So should be fun to see how he might grow or how he might, just dominate the second he gets on the field. Next pick was a little weird for me. I definitely considered Bryan Bresee at this spot, but instead I went the undersized, fun Calijah Kancey type player. You've already got some bigger bodies on that interior. Maybe you put Kancey in there as your third option immediately. See how well he works out in that sort of role, and then you can consider playing him way more snaps after half of the first year or half of the first year, anything like that. Okay, I need to tweak this fan to the point where it's not blowing my hair into my face and itching me. At this next pick, I did end up going Bryan Bresee. They need interior desperately in my eyes. I don't know why more people aren't addressing that or talking about that. But Buffalo to get Bryan Bresee at this spot isn't horrible, especially if you can reach Bryan Bresee's ceiling, if he can get past his mental blocks or whatever else may be tanking his game. But he used to be a really great player. Obviously, some experiences in life happens to some people, and it definitely happened to Bryan Bresee. Got to feel bad about that. This very next spot, Michael Mayer is on the board. I'm not going to take him. I'm going Darnell Washington, the absolute beast of a human being, the unicorn of this draft for sure. Weird combo of blocking, athleticism, and size, and I think that mashes all together to work really well with a Joe Burrow type of team. Cincinnati. I'd be well invested there with Darnell Washington, even if he doesn't work out. Maybe you can get one, next year in the draft. I don't know if Brock Bowers will be declaring, and I don't think that you'll even be in close to range for him anyways, so I don't know what I'm talking about with future classes here. The very next pick, I really love this player, especially the floor on this player. I'll let you guys guess for a second. It is edge rusher, but which one is it? We're going to have to scroll down for this. It's going to be B.J. Ojulari for me at 29. I love the floor. I love the foreshoreness. I think he'll hit in the next level. I think that he'll be really good. At number 30, we're going to see back-to-back edge players off the board. Will McDonald, bendy, athleticism, long, all words to describe Will McDonald. Crazy good player at number 30. Size may concern you. I think he's around 240. Not ideal, but Philadelphia works with not ideal and just talented linemen. And 30, you're snagging up Will McDonald. That's not a bad pick at all. I think another team that isn't being talked about enough about how much they need interior defensive line. I'm going Mazi Smith at 31. I don't care. They need interior defensive linemen. I don't know why it's not talked about. Same thing with the Buffalo Bills. They don't desperately need someone, but they can definitely use a Mazi Smith, Bryan Bresee type player. So we'll just go with that. At number 32, Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. This is basically round 2. We'll look at it that way. I'm going to pick Emmanuel Forbes for them. They've played with a little bit more lanky corners like Ahkello Witherspoon recently. Is that Ahkello? I think his name's Ahkello. It could be just another Witherspoon. I don't know about Levi Wallace, but I know he's kind of thin and a little bit more long. They worked with him recently as well. So, Emmanuel Forbes, good player. Size shouldn't really concern you. Should be interesting to see where he's valued on the NFL level, but I think he's somewhere around this range. I think Emmanuel Forbes would make a great corner in the NFL if all goes well for him, obviously. Next round, basically, they're basically transitioning to the next round when it's already been there. I went Jordan Addison right here. A for sure pick at 33. Yeah, I don't think I need to even say anything about it. At this next pick for Arizona Cardinals, second player in this draft, I'm going to go Cam Smith at the 34th pick, cornerback out of South Carolina. Very good player. Used to get first round consideration. Now he's fallen down a little bit during the process, but I don't think he falls far into the second round. Here, I do have a really interesting pick here for sure. I don't think this is going to be seen as good. I'm going to go Jalen Hyatt at 35 for him. Nothing else I could really find that really works for him that I'd enjoy at that spot. So I ended up just doing that. And then you have Joe Noteboom, and then Havenstein, who's getting older. On the tackle spots for you, I'm just going to go Anton Harrison. You get a good player. Some people view him as really good. Some people view him as meh. I kind of view him in the middle. He should be an okay player immediately, but it's just another player with a high ceiling at the next level. Be excited to see how he kind of goes. And then at this spot, I want to change it to Keeley, kind of, but at this spot, I'll go at 37. I'll stick with John Michael Schmitz. They need a center. They need interior offensive line in general. So John Michael Schmitz is the pick at 37. A really good center, really good prospect, should be good. Here, Michael Mayer has just fallen too far. Take him off the board here to Las Vegas. You lose Darren Waller, and you bring in a more fundamentally sound, more James McDaniel type player in Michael Mayer, if you ask me. I don't think that that's even a question or that is up for debate. At this next spot, I did get a little interesting. I picked Drew Sanders. They need a middle linebacker, as much as it might not look like they do. Shaq Thompson getting a little bit older. Sure, Brandon Smith might be a player that can play there. Got a few other guys in there, but Drew Sanders is not just your typical Mike or inside linebacker. He can play off the ball. He can play as an elite blitzer. He's really good at blitzing. I'll put it that way. And he can also be a stand-up off the edge type of guy, kind of like a Nolan Smith. So you like the upside there. I don't think he gets taken around here. He might even be a tail end of the first round player, but for me, he ended up just dropping for poor circumstances in this draft and just certain scenarios that go on that you just can't really comprehend. Some players kind of falling, and so it leads to more players falling. So, you had the fall of Michael Mayer, who you don't normally see fall. The early risers of Hyatt and Cam Smith, who might not go this high, but I have him this high. Addison fell. Forbes went a little higher. Mozzie Smith was in the right place, I guess. So just a lot of different variables that you probably haven't seen so far this year, especially through a 2-round mock. We do have a trade coming in for this New Orleans Saints team. I have Detroit moving up to number 40 to take quarterback Hendon Hooker in the second round. I don't think that this is crazy. The pick is in. Hendon Hooker is the new quarterback of the Detroit Lions after he heals. Jared Goff and all of them, they've been talking about how they aren't in contract extension talks. So Hendon Hooker, I'll happily go with here with this pick. Detroit, I was scared for a second because I thought I took Will Levis here. It didn't. It was to the Minnesota Vikings. But so far, this draft class has been superb. I don't know if you're going to hit on Hendon Hooker or anything like that, but I think you've got a high chance of seeing him start a couple of years down the road, if not next year. At the next pick, talked about maybe a tackle falling in this, and DeJuan Jones has. He's going at number 41 for me. Very straightforward pick. At number 42 and 43, back-to-back picks. I'm actually going to have Trenton Simpson, very athletic linebacker. I think Robert Saleh would have a lot of fun with. Another former 49ers defensive coordinator. I think Trenton Simpson was your Azeez Al-Shaair / Fred Warner type player. You'd like him to mold and play like Fred Warner with Azeez Al-Shaair, motor. You don't want his injury concerns, but just different. You take different traits from the players that you've coached in the past, and you try to see and compare and apply them to Trenton Simpson. And at number 43, I had them. This is a little bit different. This guy is off the edge in this draft simulator. It's Adetomiwa Adebawore. He'll probably play interior. He's huge. He runs really fast. Craziest testing I've seen a while, and it's crazy. Maybe since John Ross in that 4-2-2 spot or for whatever he got. Adetomiwa Adebawore off the board at 43 to the New York Jets. All full of verbal mistakes right now. Moving forward, I'm going to go right here with wide receiver Josh Downs. That is correct. Josh Downs is the new slot receiver. If you're willing to pick up a guy like Scotty Miller in free agency, I think that you'd be just fine drafting a guy like Josh Downs. That kind of told me what I needed to know about Arthur Smith and his offense. And then I don't think this player gets near here, but another player where I just didn't see a spot where he went earlier than this, Keion White off the board at 45. Sure, I could have slotted him in earlier, but I'm a Green Bay fan, so I had to have him fall into my team. Had to. I just wouldn't be able to live without it. If you guys couldn't tell, this is sarcasm. I didn't do it on purpose. At 46, just another edge player for the Xfinity, DK Uzama. Should be quite good at the next level. I'm not sure if he'll be the the best player, but he's got a pretty good upside. I think you're looking at a better player. You're not looking at one of the best in this class, and then you also have Uche and then Judon, who'll be out of there pretty soon. He's getting a little bit more on that older side, and we might see him start to kind of to decline. Here at number 47, I'm going interior offensive line, perhaps a tackle, perhaps center. I don't care. Cody Mauch can play them all. He's going off the board at 47. No questions asked. Here at number 48, Marcus May is your starting strong safety. You also have Tyrann Mathieu playing free safety. The Honey Badger ain't badging no longer. Antonio Johnson will come in. I know it's probably a bad pick. It might be, right? No, they need help on the safety side of things. I think Antonio Johnson is great. I don't think that you can have Marcus May playing, maybe Antonio Johnson plays a third of the snaps this year over the veteran Marcus May, and that can also help him learn and more of that veteran play style. And I think Antonio Johnson, if he goes to this spot, he'd be in a good spot to succeed and exceed expectations for sure. So at number 49, this one was a no-brainer for me. Jack Campbell off the board at 49. You lose your inside linebacker, Devin Bush, and you're going to bring in Jack Campbell, who I think is 3 times the player Devin Bush ever was for you. Next pick. What is that? We're getting trades. Chicago moves up in front of a team like Miami to take star/explosive running back Jahmyr Gibbs at number 50. Complements, in my opinion, Khalil Herbert perfectly. That would be a running back duo to find. That would be interesting in the future. You have Deontay Foreman there for now. That's quite fun. But fortunately for Miami, Luke Musgrave's on the board. Athlete at tight end. That just is a great pick at 51. Great value. You're getting everything you ever wanted back. Remember I was talking about taking Kelee Ringo earlier instead of John Michael Schmitz, who we got at 37? Good thing he fell in this mock draft. Kelee Ringo up to the point at 52. I think that he could go a lot earlier than this. No doubt he's got a lot of traits, and he's been talked about even safety versatility, so there's that as well. Next pick, after trading down for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it is going to be cornerback Juju Brents. Absolute size factor that did a good job at the combine, has I think 90th percentile traits, athletic traits and all that good stuff. So Julius Brents at 53, good pick. I think Juju Brents might even have a chance to also going a little bit higher than this. We talked about this pick earlier. I just went Tuli Tuipulotu. They just need help along the defensive line. They need guys that can help set edges, need guys that can help against the run. Jeez, I cannot talk right now. I end up going Steve Avila here. Graham Glasgow is lined up, I think, to play right guard for you. Steve Avila can come in and be better than Graham Glasgow and also be a lot younger than Graham immediately. At 55 is a very good pick. You're just getting good football players, and I think that's what Dan Campbell's all about. This very next pick was really easy for me. I just went Isaiah Foskey. You just need it. Robertson Harris is getting a little bit older, not the same type of player, but Foskey, juice off the edge. I think that just younger youth, all that good stuff. At this next spot, I was hesitant about DJ Turner at this spot. I'm going to do it now. I was hesitant about DJ Turner at this spot until I saw he was 5'11". I was like, okay, if this guy's 5'11" and above, I'll take him outside, or for an outside corner here at New York that can maybe even slide inside. But you also have Adoree Jackson, Darnay Holmes there. But Amani Oruwariye is also there. I don't know if actually Darnay Holmes is there or if he's hurt right now or anything like that. Cordell Flott's your next best guy. DJ Turner will come in at 5'11", perhaps play that boundary corner. He's got some speed on him. Fastest player in this class at the Combine. So that was also good stuff. Here with the Cowboys, you can't just pass on Sam Laporta. He falls this far. You can't pass on that. Falls to 58. Sam Laporta is definitely the pick here. No questions asked. You lose Tremaine Edmonds if you're Buffalo in free agency. I ended up just going Diane Henley, plugging that one up. An athlete at linebacker, sideline to sideline. Crazy good. Should translate to the next level pretty well. At this next spot, I actually ended up going Joe Tippmann, so Ted Karras doesn't have to play for you. And even if you want him to play another season, if Joe Tippmann doesn't look ready, go ahead. Karras is like 30 years old. Joe Tippmann's ready to play in the pros. 60th overall pick in this draft. Very next pick here for the Chicago Bears, I actually had Derek Hall, the athletic, well-fluid linebacker slash edge rusher. I only say that because at the Combine, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah talking about how many different roles Derek Hall can play after seeing the Combine and how well he moves as an athlete. And Derek Hall, at 61 is not a bad deal at all. This very next pick, though, is a little bit different. I don't think a lot of people would have this exactly, but Keanu Benton is the only person that really made sense to me at this spot, so I said, screw it, I'm doing it. And then another pick that I was, screw it, I'm doing it, is Cedric Tillman to the KC Chiefs. They have no player like Cedric Tillman. Sure, they have the size of Marquez Valdes-Scantling, not the same player. Cedric Tillman is going to help this offense if he goes there, of course, in this mock draft. He will help this team immensely in that receiving room. I think that is the last piece you're looking for. You've got your slot slash gadget guys with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore playing multiple different roles. Marquez Valdes-Scantling maybe is that true X or Y receiver that can just stretch the field a little bit. And you get a possession and like just high point, tall, great receiver in Cedric Tillman. I think that he can go even earlier than this as well. Not the tail end of the second round. And at this spot, you're looking for good football players, and Clark Phillips, I've heard, is just that. Been great through college, intelligent player, 64th overall pick. The first pick of the third round, basically, but this is in this mock draft sim. This is going to be the first pick of this next round. I actually went Gervon Dexter here. Another player, right? Kind of like Jalen Carter with his motor. He doesn't really play with very high effort sometimes, and when he does, he can be great. He's got all the traits to help him be good. Not like an Eric Armstead or anything that D'Amico Ryans has worked with, but if he can develop a guy like Gervon Dexter, watch out. Dexter can be one of the better players on the Texans defense in a few years. Mark my words. If he goes, of course. This next pick here, Devin Achane is the pick. Opposite of James Conner. I think I've had this one plenty of times. He's just the complete opposite of James Conner. How long is James Conner really going to be good for? I just did that. Two players I'm really fond of. I'm just going to take them back to back and talk about it. Zach Harrison and Darius Rush. Zach Harrison is the athlete of the future of the century. I'm joking. Zach Harrison's a really good athlete, runs really fast, is a really high upside rusher off the edge. Extreme acceleration, gets to the ball quick. He's long, he's got ideal size. He's not overweight or anything like that. Could be a typical edge. And Sean Payton would have a field day with these guys, with Darius Rush as well, who's got all the traits to be cornerback number 1 in this whole entire draft. Taking him here at 68, obviously, cornerback 1 in this whole entire draft is a stretch. I'm talking maybe top 5 cornerback in this class when it's all said and done, but Darius Rush is a very good player. I think that he will be for a while as well. Los Angeles on the clock after getting Anton Harrison with their first pick. I ended up going to a different direction, aiming towards Andre Carter, I guess. Yeah, I guess I did that. He's so far down, so I don't know. Yeah, Andre Carter was the pick there at 69 for me. I don't know why. We'll just go with it. Next pick on the board is for the Raiders. I had them taking Bergeron. He's been talked about as a guard and what could be a great guard slash football player at the next level. We always talk about at the next level, and we don't actually have any guarantees there, but Matthew Bergeron, good things about him. Got good traits. He's got good size. He's got quality stuff to play really well on the interior of an offensive line, and that Las Vegas Raiders just need good football players on that offensive line. Let's be real. At this next spot, I'm going to pick a running back with size and just all around different than Alvin Kamara. Kamara might even face suspension. It doesn't look like it, but Zach Charbonnet at 71 overall is not horrible. And then at number 72, I've done this a few times as well. I just ended up going Rashee Rice, a player I'm really fond of. He's really good, and I think that he's just an overall good player, especially after the catch he plays like Derrick Henry. That's a note I have on him. It looks good. You're going to keep size on that offense. You have Treylon Burks there already, but next best guy is lined up to be the receiver 2. Nick Westbrook, Akina. You have Chris Moore and Kyle Phillips. Rashee Rice can really solidify as that wide receiver 2/3/ great option on that team, and I don't think that that's a bad pick at all. Complements Treylon Burks just fine. At this next spot, I ended up going Tariq Stevenson. Last probably quality boundary corner that you're going to find in this class. You didn't go corner earlier, so go now. Steven Nelson can maybe play nickelback. Whatever you need him to do, Tariq Stevenson will come in and maybe play some limited snaps while he continues to learn. At this next spot, I don't think Siaki Ika can slip any further. I'm not high on him. It just looks kind of weird through the process, and he's fluctuated a lot. So there's that. And then we talk about boundary corners. I think Garrett Williams might even not play the boundary. He's 5'10". He's not that big. He's got good athleticism. He was really good at Syracuse. All that needs to be said, though, is he might go way after this. He might go just around here. I don't see him going any higher. I think this is as high as he'll get in any mock that you'll see, but where the NFL likes him, I have no idea. I really don't. But at 76, I can't have this guy slipping any further. Jonathan Mingo off the board at 76, no question. Might actually be the wide receiver 2 or 3 in this class for some people. Mingo is really good, and I think that he's a good option. He's not my favorite player. He's not my wide receiver. He's not in my top 4 receivers. He might find that 5th or 6th spot for me, but Mingo is a good player, and I truly believe he can be great at the next level. We'll see how that kind of goes. But next pick, you need safety. You got rid of... So who was their safety? Oh, Taylor Rapp. Jordan Battle's there now. Jordan Battle, just a really good football player as well. At 77, I think that's tremendous value. Battle's been talked about as a good player. At this next spot, I don't know how this has happened. Tucker Kraft is now a Green Bay Packer. They've had what I think is a great draft. Let me find the Green Bay Packers here. Yeah, A+, A+, A+. So JSN at 15, Keon White at 45, Tucker Kraft at 78. That's crazy. Next pick for the Arizona Cardinals is going to be, I'm going Luke Whippler here at number 79 for the Arizona Cardinals. For the fun of it, they need help on that offensive line. And that's just what I'm going to do. I went Byron Young here. You guys can do your research on him if you're a Pittsburgh fan. I think that he'd just be a good player for you. Nothing else really made sense. I looked for a trade down. You couldn't really find one, so Byron Young off the board at 80. It is what it is. You could go receiver here, but I didn't really find the reason to. At this spot, I did go receiver, though. I went Marvin Mims, normally a player I'm really high on. I have him going way before now. But Marvin Mims has unfortunately fallen in this one. He will be taken here at number 81. Good, speedy guy that can play the boundary, but can also play inside if you need him to. If you want Amon-Ra outside doing something else, you can have Marvin Mims. Scheme differently. I really like the availability and the possibilities with Marvin Mims for sure. And then Sidney Brown, they just need a safety. You have safeties there for sure. What is it? Ryan Neal and Antoine Winfield. So I just went Sidney Brown. It just made too much sense not to. At this spot as well, I went Chandler Zavala, someone you might not hear about a lot, and his name has kind of died down after having a little bit of a hot streak for a second there. I'm going to keep him in the 3rd round. Chandler Zavala just should be a good player at the next level. I think he bounced around schools and had injury concerns, and so and his tape was really good though, so there's that. And then here at number 84, I'm going to go running back. It's not going to be Tajay. It's going to be Tank Bigsby. They need straight power. They've got Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. But I just went with Tank Bigsby. Are you kidding? A power runner like that on a team like this is just, like, I can't even explain it. You're just expanding your offense by the pick if you draft the way you have with Luke Musgrave and Tank Bigsby. At number 84, or 85, my bad. This is where I got fun. I went Tank Dell. You get some speed there. 1.4, 9, 10-yard split, if I remember correctly. Ran 4.4 and 9, which isn't the fastest, but still good speed. But he's got elite acceleration. He is really shifty. He's really small. Reason he's going this late. If he was about 5'11", 180, 185, 190, oh God, he would probably be wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 at this spot. or not at this spot, but in this class. And so there's that. Baltimore at the next spot. This is a little bit of an overdraft, but I really think that this could happen. Riley Moss taken at 86. I can see him going even higher than this. Great athlete, moves crazy well, great size, plays fun. It is really fun to watch, and it just looks good. I think there's a lot to like with Iowa's cornerback Riley Moss, who was good in college as well. So there is that. And then at this next one, I actually went Tyler Scott here. Will Levis and Tyler Scott coming in the same draft class. Could be weird. KJ Osborne is definitely better than Tyler Scott immediately, but Scott gives you a whole nother arsenal of different things, I guess, with Kevin O'Connell, who's, the Rams guy. So you had maybe a Tutu Atwell type player there with Tyler Scott, a little bit on the smaller side, but a little bit more speed, shiftiness, all that good stuff. Next pick for me, just a need, and it's going to be Zach Pickens. I'm not sure if that's the best pick there for them, but it is what it is. And then I stopped the fall of Tyjae Spears, who I don't think I've had in a 3-round mock. If I have, I fit him somewhere else other than in here to the New York Giants, because you really think about it. You don't want to risk a Saquon injury with how well he's playing, and I think Saquon and New York, I don't think they've reached contract extension yet. So if Tyjae Spears can play good football for you, I think that you'd be happy with that. Tiny little run on running back. I'm going to go Rashawn Johnson here at number 90. That's going to end with what is listed at offensive tackle, but can be an elite guard or a good starter at least at the NFL level. I'm going to go Tyler Steen. Buffalo can use just another good offensive lineman. I'm sure if you guys are Bills fans, you guys are kind of mad with this draft. It's not the greatest for them, but where they're picking, I think that they're doing a great job. I think I did a good job with that. Sure you guys are going to disagree. It's just what it is, but is what it is. Next pick for me actually ended up being Jartavius Martin, DB, corner, slot nickel, cornerback, safety guy thing. You lose Von Bell and Jesse Bates. You need safeties. I'm going to play Jartavius Martin over top. I don't think that's even a question. You can get maybe a Brandon Joseph, Daniel Scott, Ronnie Hickman down the board this later in the draft for sure. Big fan of Ronnie Hickman, if you guys couldn't tell. At this next spot, though, this is a corner unlike any they have. I went Trey Tomlinson, but reason I say that, he's 5'8" or so. He's a great football player, but I just went there because they just have Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn, and C.J. Henderson. Get Hodges Tomlinson, scheme him up on defense. Be a pain in the ass, all right? Just do that. And then here at number 94, Nicholas Morrow's in one of those starting spots for them right now. I don't think you want that. Henry To'oTo'o can come in and play rotational snaps on defense in the middle of the field. Wouldn't be so mad about that. And then right here, I went with offensive tackle, but it was between the top two, between Jalen Duncan and Blake Freeland. Blake Freeland is 6'8", massive human being. I just went with the upside of Blake Freeland over Jalen Duncan. I don't hear a whole lot about Maryland tackle Jalen Duncan, and I don't hear much about Freeland either. But I've seen this guy's draft profile, and it looks a hell of a lot better than Jalen Duncan when you look at ceiling. And I think if they're KC Chiefs, you're reaching for that ceiling. Lucas Niang is slotted right now to be one of your starting tackles, and I just don't think that you enjoy that. So far, you've held off on it, so you're going to try to swing big at number 95 and go with that sort of player. It is what it is. Arizona at number 96. This is where I have Jalen Duncan. They just need help on the offensive line. If Jalen Duncan's half as good as this mock draft sim might have him, he should be okay at that spot. Maybe not a long-term idea or ideal player at that spot, but it is what it is. At number 97, Schoonmaker is the pick. They need a tight end. Logan Thomas isn't going to be alive for much longer. He's so old. Schoonmaker at number 97 just makes sense. Good player. Great size. He's 6'5", something like that. Really good athletic profile. Should be good at the next level. Next player I went was former DB, converted into linebacker with huge upside with DeMarvion Overshown. They're facing a lot of injuries in the middle linebacker field for Cleveland. You have, so many guys. Sione Takitaki, Jalen Phillips, JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Deion Jones, I don't know if he's still there. And there's another, I think, two, even that I'm forgetting about. So that is what it is. At number 99, for this, Niners team, I actually ended up going JL Skinner here. They have Deshaun Gibson slotted up as a starter right now. You can't have that. Next guy I will take off the board is going to be a project. It's going to be Andrew Voorhees. Now, when we talk about Andrew Voorhees, I don't know if you guys know him. He was supposed to be probably an early third, mid-third rounder. Could fall, could go higher than that. Unfortunately, saw an ACL tear in the combine. It'll set him back a little bit. But Las Vegas, you're not looking to be great immediately, especially with the loss of Derek Carr. So you bring in Jimmy G to maybe fit your win now window, which isn't really a win now window. You're going to be out of Jimmy G's contract next year. I can almost guarantee you. If they keep him for the 3 years, they are psycho. Fire whoever, Mike Mayock and James Daniels or whatever. This is James McDaniels. McDaniels, stupid guy. Anyways. Next pick for me will be Jaden Reed to the Niners, and then the next pick for me, again, someone who's fallen throughout this process, is Noah Sewell. I love all of these linebackers, I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Nick, but it is what it is. I love Owen Papo, Dorian Williams, the long dreads. Avon Pace is pretty good. Where is my Cam Jones? Is all the way down here. That's quite rough. But for me, I went Noah Sewell at inside linebacker for them to kind of come in and play. Aziz Al-Shaair left. And you can kind of fill that rotational middle of the linebacker spot with Noah Sewell. Maybe even becomes a better player than Aziz Al-Shaair in the long run. And then I did this in one of my first ever 3-round mocks. I'm going to do it again. Olu Watimi. Oh my God, did I just say his name? Olu Watimi? I don't know. Really good player. At least should be. He's a 2-time best offensive lineman winner. Played center for 3 or 4 years at Michigan at a good level. So I like the draft a lot. So if you guys want to go back, check any of your teams, go ahead. Had a lot of fun with this for sure. I'll see you guys next time. Once again, make sure to consider liking and subscribing. It's really the only message I have for y'all. So see ya.